Yeah, it always cracks me up when I put out these videos when I have great visibility that I get a lot of trolls coming on. I'm calling them the ball babies now, and I like to get them to cry. They come on, insult you, try to discourage your subscribers uh, to not even look into flat Earth. They want to ridicule you so bad that you feel humiliated to where you discontinue researching it. Um, and if you look at all these comments that these guys make, they are just repeated, regurgitated comments that you get from all the other trolls. They ask you the same damn questions and they wonder why they get blocked because I'm tired of answering their stupid questions. Um, let's get into this too. Here's one. A lot of there's a lot of flat earthers out there that say that these clouds are going behind the sun. Well, I kind of agree with they appear to be going behind the sun, but are they really? Because you have density in clouds, and the denser clouds, like right here, obviously these dense clouds go across it and you can see it. But there's clouds actually around these darker areas. As you look off to the side, you'll see, but the sun's light bleeds through that, and all you see is the densest part of the sun. And up to the upper right side there, you could also see where those clouds were coming in. And the lesser, denser clouds, the light just burns right through them. I mean, anybody can go outside and look up, and you'll see planes behind the clouds, fly behind the clouds. So, are you seeing the plane in front of the clouds? Same way with stars. Less dense clouds go across. You can see the stars behind them. Why? Because the light is bleeding through them. All right, well, that's a whole nother story too. But use some common sense, people. Think about cloud density when you're out looking at stuff like this because it does make a difference. It's called critical thinking. Um, so, they run you down the wrong rabbit hole and you get lost, especially if you're following some of these channels that do push that issue. Now, my big thing is watching the sun converge onto the horizon. Um, you have your visible horizon or your visible water line, but above that is, I don't know, a lot of times I can see it on my camera, but when I post the videos, it's not there. But there's this line just above the visible water line that is all compressed. All of that is compressed. Why? Because of my angle to the surface. So that surface is compressed, just like I say, when you're looking at a board, the end of it is getting compressed. The whole surface is getting compressed. And I hate that when I get something pops up while I'm making a video because it makes some noise and then it disturbs me. But we can watch this sun shift shape. Um, Now, to the naked eye, people standing on the shore, they're watching it. They don't see the shift change because with my naked eye, all I see is is a round, what looks like a perfectly round sun. But with further inspection and further observations, we start seeing the sun start shape shifting. From top to bottom, it will give you this different appearance, almost like it's getting flat at the bottom. And for some reason, this time of the year and later on, the sun seems to converge a lot slower because I mean, even while I was making this video, if I left the audio on, you'd hear me say, wow, this is taking an awful long time because I do a lot of sun videos on the horizon, so I'm getting very used to watching these and seeing what I see. Definitely makes me question the big globular model that we are given as children. And here's something. I forgot to turn my camera back on. Here it is. I'm down to 4 or 5 seconds here. You can see. So there's a little bit of a jump if I wouldn't have put this in the video. So if you're wondering why, it's because a few seconds were missing out of it. But I put this in there to kind of alleviate that. Now you see that I forgot to turn it on. And then I realized it, and I said, oh, bink, we got to turn that back on. And then, of course, my cell phone camera, just don't want to focus on the damn thing on the screen. It's a pain in the ass sometimes, but that happens. And then I'm going to go back to the original video. Yes, I did not put any transitions in, so I hope it doesn't you know, look too bad on the video itself. But you know, look at this thing. I mean, does this thing look round to you? It looks oblate, right? Oblate. So is the sun like the earth oblate, like they tell us? I mean, all of this stuff that we are handed to as children is part of the belief. And why is it that we took a handful of people, a handful of scientists' word for it, over billions of people in the world are just going to swallow this up, gobble it up, and digest it? Why? Because that's what we were taught. From young ages, we were taught that we live on a spinning ball of water. Now, you know, if you want to brainwash somebody, when's the best time to brainwash them? At a young age, right? At a young age. So that's why they take you into school at these young ages, because they just don't want you to think critically. We're told we have 5 senses, but actually I think we have 6, maybe even more, because we got one of the senses that they don't teach is critical thinking. And when you start critical thinking and asking questions, you are mocked and ridiculed because you're not going along with the established belief system. So when you turn your back on that established belief system, people will look down upon you. They will think the worst of you. They will say that you are uneducated, that you don't know shit, that you must came from the backwoods. And by the way, somebody mentioned that I get my Yankee ass kicked. Well, I'm sorry, people, but I am a rebel. I was born in the South. I was raised mostly in the South. I did spend some time up in New York, where I got educated a lot. And, you know, I got to say that, you know, coming back to Florida was probably one of the best moves I ever made, because that's where I met my wife. And we've been married 36 years. And yes, we have our ups and downs. It's a rough road. A marriage is not easy. But you know what? It's better to work things out with your loved one than it is to just throw it all down in the commode and just do away with your, you know, you might disagree. Like my wife disagrees with the flat earth. I don't have a problem with it. Yes, we get into a few arguments here and there over it. But you know what? All in all, it's our love that keeps us together.